Gussin around. Your friendly neighborhood Gusses are Gussin around. Your favorite neighborhood Gusses, where are they found? In the studio making a podcast for you. Find out what we did this week. Was it fun or was it kind of bleak? You won't know unless you listen to the podcast. Find out what we talking about. Is it good or is it kind of not? You won't know unless you listen to us.
Gus!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Gussin Around. I'm your host, Shannon Guss, and here with me is my co-host, as always, Peter Guss.
Hello.
Hello, Peter.
Welcome back, everybody.
It's so weird. It's like we spent all day together, and then it's like, hello.
Well, yeah, that is a bit strange, actually.
Yeah, today I'm like talking about what we're going to talk about on the podcast tonight, and I'm like, let's not actually have this conversation.
Yeah, you said to me,
we'll talk about it on the podcast.
Let's save it for the podcast.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know your opinions on it, and I'm willing to hash it out on the podcast.
But I'm scared that I don't know your opinions on it and wanted to talk about it.
I don't think you understand what we're doing here, but we've had not a hugely interesting week. A few things. We got some feedback on the Amazon discussion from last week.
We did.
About whether Peter was in the wrong for ordering so much on Amazon.
One order a month.
A lot of people sided with Peter.
Yes. One order a month is a reasonable amount to order things.
Some people sided with me.
Yes, it was your mum.
Yeah, that was a big one. It's because I said it wrong. I shouldn't have catch-alled Amazon. You know, I was using Amazon the way you use other, it's like brand names, but what I really meant was just there's more online purchases than just Amazon.
No, there's my medication, which I need to live.
Okay. Oh, I think we're saying the same thing. Does it come to the house when I'm recording my podcast?
If you're worried because things are coming during your podcast, that's probably still just Amazon because it comes in so many different deliveries.
I might seem callous that I'm like, and see the thing, and we can talk about this on a separate podcast.
I'm not ordering from any other site.
Basically,
it's just Amazon and medication.
Well, there's just one more than last week. Let's see next week how many more we admit to.
Cut out my medication for you, so I don't disturb your podcast. You're podcasting all the time. Maybe the issue is how often you're podcasting.
I'm not really podcasting now, but this was a concern during AUV World.
You're podcasting 5 times a week.
I was like, can you push off the medication? But it was like 7 times a week. Also,
I went unders.
Yes. Also, because Peter, we can talk about this on a future podcast, but Peter has had long COVID.
I do still have long COVID.
Yeah, and that needs to be managed with medication that needs to be sent in the mail during my podcast. I'm such a terrible person.
Yeah,
I'm coming across as a terrible person.
Yeah, 7 times a week is too much.
No, that's not it. It's the fact that I'm so callous about your health. That's not the issue.
Podcast too much, and 7 times a week is an unreasonable amount to podcast.
For a 3-week season, though.
I think it's irrelevant. I think just 7 times in a week is too much. Like for anything, for a hobby, for a non-hobby.
Hey, and I don't think this is the choir you should be preaching to because a lot of them are here from.
Yeah, I'm sure they enjoy it, but I think if you think like, geez, the Shan. I wonder how that she needs to get a life sort of thing. I think there will be like she probably shouldn't podcast 7 times a week.
But I'm not. I'm doing this and like Survival 49 right
I'm doing this, a podcast.
Yeah, I'm doing then that's basically like the extent of my podcasting at the moment. Then I'm gonna have a kid and rarely ever podcast.
I get to see you is because I'm like, Shannon, I want to see you, and you're like, well, come on the next podcast.
Yeah, that's why you did this, is you were like,
yeah, finally,
that's how we can spend
just
time
auditioning
together
for other podcasts.
That's so smart.
Thank you.
No, not auditioning. That you is like, how can we spend time together? It's like, we'll do a podcast. That's so smart. We did get a question. I have it on my phone. I'm sorry, it's not super professional. This is actually, it's not a Q&A, but we had a great question which I knew you'd have a reaction to.
Yes.
Cac per mush.
And
I
appreciate
on YouTube,
this question as well.
Said, since Peter's a big Survivor watcher too, would he ever do a recap?
Hell Yeah, I would do a recap if Shan would ever ask me to do one. / me begging to do one, and her like, no, people don't want to hear about
that.
your
Is not.
opinions.
This is like this is the hit job on my character.
What's the reason?
So
it's not like I haven't asked many times.
Does. Basically, it's actually really sad. What will happen is like, say,
sad for who?
For you
and the listeners.
I can't find a guest, or like someone cancels last minute or something. Peter will always be like, sub me in, coach, and I'm like,
It's my time to shine.
Yeah, every time I'm like, we'll see, but I don't really mean it, and it's never happened.
Yeah, someone cancelled once like on the day, and I'm like, this is it. It's here. You're not going to find
I get very few
New Zealand season 2 watcher this late notice. I'm ready.
It wasn't.
I'm coming
US,
in.
Yeah.
And then Shan still found someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know there was an appetite for it, but now we have one question. And obviously your fans on Gussin around are gonna like massively ask for that.
Look, firstly, I'm not sure how many of when you say my fans, I'm making new fans, Shan. There's no one listening. I'm pretty sure that's still my fans. It's all Shan's fans. But I'm gathering the audience through this. This is why we're doing the podcast, so I can convert your fans to my fans, so that I can get on one of your recap podcasts.
I thought also you could spend time with me.
I can have more than one reason for this.
The issue is as well, you're hating US Survivor. I have to beg you to watch US Survivor every week.
Okay, that doesn't seem like a hot take.
It's not.
Great.
But I mean, during AUV World, like you were loving it. Never, in fact, during AUV World, you'd be like, can we watch another one? I'm like, no, I have to like podcast about this one. You're like, again?
Maybe because Australian Survivor, I think, is just better.
Oh, so that season was amazing.
Yeah.
But at the moment with US Survivor, last week I said, Peter, we have to watch US Survivor now. You said, oh, I want to play Pokemon. I don't want to watch. And I said, please stick with it just till we get to San Francisco. We're going to see all these players from the cast. We're going to be with people watching the show. Like, just stick with it for like 2-3 more weeks so we can watch it. And so and if it doesn't improve by then, I think you will be out. And
it didn't improve.
No spoilers, but you're not loving it.
I mean, no one's loving it. There's not a single person in the world that is loving it.
These are the time it takes to get on the podcast.
No, I don't think that's a pretty normal take. I don't even think that's not a take that gets me on the podcast. I think what the real reason Shan doesn't want me on the podcast is if I'm on the podcast, people will realize that she just steals all my points.
I credit you like crazy.
She does.
I mention you on every podcast.
It would just be my point and Shan being like, that's a good point. And that would be it.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. That's exactly what it is.
No, it's all Shan.
That's what it's.
I come up with one in the blue moon.
Classic woman stealing men's ideas. That's what
she credits me for that one.
I credit you all the time.
Yeah, I'm saying that. You credit me, but what you're not saying is I have about 50 bad ideas to every one good idea. So when she says I credit my husband for this, I'm like, I'm trying to think outside the box, and most of the time it does not work.
No, I appreciate it. I do, especially when we're doing like Australian Survivor and we have screeners and like I can't talk about with anyone but you. Like there are definitely things you say where I'm like, oh, like lucky you said that. I wouldn't have thought of it.
Yeah, I feel like I get.
Now get out of my podcast room.
It's like one good idea delivered across 10 boxes like Amazon.
All right. Well, what else happened? Okay, I'm gonna look at our notes for the week. Oh, so I don't know. A couple weeks ago, I said Lizzie cut up her head. So this week we have to cone her. I don't know if anyone saw the photos I put online, but we got in a little. Actually, we fought about this too.
We did.
This is not.
I don't know if it was a fight.
It wasn't a fight. It was just a discussion,
and you were.
I was
wrong.
crying.
Yeah, but you also realized. No, I put my foot down. I said, no, we are doing this right now. I'm going on Amazon. Don't judge.
It was on Amazon. It was an
emergency Amazon order.
Man, did it come quickly too.
Yeah, it did. It came it came so quickly.
Ridiculous.
I ordered it like 10 p.m. at night and it was there in the morning. And I said, Shan, she's cut her head like 3 times in a row because she keeps scratching it, reopening the wound. We can't get it to heal, and we're going to go to San Fran, and I don't want anyone that's house sitting for us to have to stress about looking after her wound. So I'm like, it needs to heal before then. So we need to get her a cone, and there's some really cute cones on Amazon, like a flower cone, a soft flower cone.
Peter wanted to get all the humiliating cones, like a piece of bread that makes it look like she's a little bit of jam.
Oh my God, piece of bread. Cone is like the funniest thing ever, and I'm
not looking to laugh at my poor sweet sad injured cat.
I'm thinking of buying it even though we don't need one, just so that I have it in case we need it at some stage in the next 20 years, because it's so funny. It's square and it's like a piece of toast. It's so funny. Anyway, I said we're just getting the cone and we're going to put it on her and it's going to heal and it's going to take a couple of days and we'll be fine. And Shan kicked up a big stink, and she cried, and she's like, "No, I'm not doing that. We're going to try and let it heal." And I'm like, "Nope, foot down, get in the cone." And she looks so cute in the cone. So I think
she
that
looks
kind
cute
of
as hell. It's
yeah,
so
that
sad
helps.
because it makes me sad because she's been resilient, but she's not been super
It's
happy.
nearly fully healed.
We're almost through it, but like she's so cute. So I'm just like I'm like taking photos of her. I'm like, so because my whole camera roll at this point is her and her little flower cone because she's so pretty. But it was the right thing to do. It was, but you know what? I really thought, am I gonna be a parent? Like I was really upset, and then I like had to go calm myself, and I was like, she scratched her head. The cat scratched her head. Like at a point,
we just
I'm gonna have to be able to deal with things.
Do the medical decisions.
You're like a doctor.
Not a doctor, far from it. But
it's how you've healed this thing.
Just
you can ask Omar, our
calm
friend who's
during
a vet,
crisis.
how well you did. Well, you did, yeah. And but
really
also
good
the
in
wound
crisis
care.
situations. Yeah. Make sure I didn't. Yeah, we've been cleaning the wound, salt water.
You are a vet,
sort of stuff.
pretty much.
you can't
Omar, I'm sorry if you're listening.
all of the doctors and vets. No,
yeah,
it's much more difficult. But just like basic first aid, I've done that training anyway, which helps with the cat.
I should probably do that if I'm having a child.
I think we do closer to the time. There's like baby first aid, and if there's not, we will do it anyway.
It concerns me how much
so
I feel
your
I
parents
have to do.
and probably my parents.
Okay, well now they know.
Finding out on this podcast.
I feel we can talk about it because I'm 20 weeks today. That's halfway for the people who don't know, and we'll talk about in terms of the pregnancy. And I genuinely I feel like I have a really big exam coming up that I've done like no prep. In terms of the pregnancy,
I think they realize you're more than 20 weeks old.
Well, it could be anything.
I'm 20 weeks. Oh yeah, just for the pregnancy.
But yeah, I feel like I've got I've got so much to prepare, and I haven't spent a lot of time like researching like how to rear a child.
I think you've got 20 more weeks. Like that's a long time.
It'll go quickly.
Yeah, you can. It's like a test. You just cram in the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, when I'm feeling at my worst.
Okay, fine. Will you feel worse than like?
This is when I'm meant to feel my best. I threw up 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
That second trimester is not as rosy as they paint it out to be.
They did paint it really rosy.
It's fine. It's comparatively fine, I guess. But like, it's not amazing. I guess everyone's different. But yeah, okay, fine. So I'll add first aid to the list.
Maybe we should do it when we get back, like in the 24 to 30 range.
There's so much work, and I have to call the government.
Okay, well, that's not that big of a deal.
It is, because I hate calling anyone. I'm a millennial. When work told me, they were like,
You're an introvert.
Yeah, they were like, call the government. I'm like, I don't know if I would have had kids if I knew I had to call the government. Like, that's a step too far. All right, we're going to talk about all this stuff, actually, but we were going to talk about Pokemon.
Why don't we talk about that?
Well, let's get to Pokemon.
Finish with Pokemon.
No, we're not finishing with... Oh, do you want to finish with Pokemon?
No, it's fine. Whatever. I don't care. You're the host.
All right, we can keep...
I've given
up.
Yeah,
no, let's do Pokemon. So your Pokemon game came out. You seem happy about it.
I seem happy about it. She says after me playing for 15, 16 hours in the last 3 days.
That doesn't sound good either.
I'm not ashamed. Much? It's only that much. Yeah, because I didn't play on Friday, like at all. Nearly the whole day.
Oh,
so I played on like Thursday when it came out a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't
because I was like, I'm going to play on Friday. Then things kept coming up, so I couldn't play. And then Saturday I played like the whole day. So that's my 15 hours. But it's very fun for those that I don't think I'm appealing to a large audience with this, but I've really enjoyed. Pokemon? Yeah, I guess maybe.
Isn't that like the biggest franchise of all time? Like, didn't we do a trivia thing and it was like the one thing that had
Mario, Pokemon, and Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
I think it was. Was it Hello Kitty?
I think Pokemon's massive. We got many questions about it from last week.
Yeah. Well, I really like the Legends, I guess you call them non-mainline games, kind of, where you can see the Pokemon before you catch them. I think that's really cool, and it adds like a great deal of immersion to the world, and the world building I think is like really cool. And I think it's just a little bit more fun, a bit exciting. The ranked play, if people haven't played the ranked play, is really fun. It's like a battle royale style, 4 players running around with their Pokemon, and you can just like kill anyone you want. And that's really cool. I've really enjoyed that rather than the standard gameplay. And I will say a funny moment. I was playing on Saturday for like 10 hours, and Shannon was on the couch doing work and looking up every now and then, clearly not really absorbing what was going on.
I was watching Friends reruns, really. But
heaps of Pokemon from every generation on screen, and Shan knows a bit after these years. And just the only comment she made the whole time was, I was in a battle, and she's like, Onyx. Like, I mean, there's been Pidgeys and like Pikachu and like heaps of Pokemon you knew, and you're just like, Onyx. I'm like, that's the most random Pokemon to get excited about.
Because I knew it.
You knew others, I guess.
I wasn't really looking.
It's like,
I don't know this stuff through
so
you.
random.
I grew up in the 2000s. I also watched Pokemon. I can still do the whole Team Rocket theme song right now. Don't test me.
No, but it's just funny that it was Onyx was the one that you smiled and you
Rock's
pointed
Pokemon.
And you looked at me and you were like, yeah. But you were just like so excited to point to it.
I was excited because I knew the Pokemon.
It's funny.
You're similar to that with Taylor Swift or with Hamilton. When you get a lyric right, you're like, you're the same way, but the same look on your face of pride. Like, I did good, and I'm like, yes.
It's not that you didn't do well. It's how random it is.
That's why it's more impressive.
No, it was just, I think we're on a different wavelength.
You don't think it's impressive. You're just like, why did you care?
I kind of think like, why did you care about Onyx out of all of the Pokemon?
Because I'm like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah, but you know a lot of them. It was just really random.
I don't know that I do know a lot of them. I think I can name you 30 Pokemon.
Okay, but like most of the 30 would have been on the screen.
Maybe more
times.
I played Pokemon Go when it first came out. I had to. That was the only way to spend time with you, much like this podcast. And I hate walking around. You know, they were like, Pokemon Go really got people to move. I hated that part of it. I wasn't enjoying that. And I did that I played Pokemon Go for so long. In fact, when Pokemon Go came out in 2016, and we went to Japan, end of 2016. Much of that trip was based around different places to Pokemon
We tried to get
Go
a Farfetch'd, which was regional exclusive in Asia. And we spent so long, and we found it on the last day of our trip. And I remember
just being on a bus to go somewhere to find the Pokemon. And being like...
No, because we missed the Farfetch on the first day. And then I spent 2 weeks trying to find the Farfetch.
Amazing memory for this. You've forgotten like whole weddings of our friends.
My long-term memory is great. My short-term memory is terrible.
It's just the Pokemon memory.
Fine.
I'm glad you told that story about the Farfetch'd.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people might think, wow, Peter puts up with a lot. And now people know it's mutual.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Anyway, back to Pokemon. I started with Chikorita. I know that was a question that I got.
What was the question?
No, I didn't like any of the starters. They're my least favorite from all of the generations.
Wait, was that the question options. About the starter?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it means, it said, Joseph asked, need to know which starter Pokemon Peter chooses. I thought that was like Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. Aren't those the starter?
I had a
Pokemons?
They were, and I had a Charmander, but you never said anything.
I was watching Friends reruns. I think that you overestimated how much I was watching you do something.
That's the Generation 1 starters. There's different starters for different generations, but this game chose starters based on previous generations, none from Generation 1. And they chose it was like, I'm going to summarize, I know it's wrong. But let's say 2, 3, 4 in generation, one from each, but it was my least favorite in each one. And I was like, oh, damn, this kind of sucks. But Mega Meganium is kind of cool, so
okay.
I like the goofy flower fairy.
Flower?
Yeah.
Like my flower fairy.
It looks like it's wearing a flower cone around its head, actually. Is
there a bread one?
There's not a bread. If there was a bread Pokemon that had like a bread cone, that would be great and hilarious. But yeah, it actually is kind of reminiscent of what our cat looks like. So maybe that's why I'm into it.
I think this is Alex at Black Widow Brigade who asked, I also demand to know if he was a gym leader, what type would he be? Maybe explain the question before you answer it.
There's different types of Pokemon, like different elements like fire, water, ground, earth. But I don't know why I said earth. I said ground. Sorry, Pokemon fans. But you battle a gym leader as like
is Brock one?
Brock is the first gym leader in the first game.
Hello. Crazy. How much I know.
But you have to defeat them in order to like progress through the game. So they're like points that's stamped on, I guess, in your badges. You get a badge and you look at them and you can see how far you've progressed. Anyway, they're like milestones of games. And they all have a specific type of Pokemon that they use. They don't usually have like a team full of various types. It's just one type. So all fire Pokemon, all water Pokemon, stuff like that. So the question is just asking what type I would use.
Rock.
Why do you think it would be rock?
Onyx?
I don't like Onyx as much as you do, clearly. Do you actually know? I feel like you should know.
I should know what type you'd be.
Yeah, because
that feels pretty fundamental.
It's been my favorite type.
Yeah.
Since
this is a fun game. Thank you, Alex.
I was like 14.
Water.
You were close, but I feel like you just guessed.
As you guess.
It's ice.
Wait, I didn't know there was ice. I would have guessed ice.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Because if you were to have any superpower, you would choose to freeze things. That's why I went with water, because it was the closest to ice. I didn't know there was ice.
Yeah, it's ice.
I would have done ice because this is actually the story. When Peter and I first started dating, we were long distance. We were watching, I think, all the X-Men movies because Peter loved X-Men. He wanted to. I think I hadn't seen them. You were showing me all the X-Men movies, and I showed you The Fault in Our Stars. Well, that came out in 2014. But we were watching each other's favorite movies, and I said, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Mine would be teleportation, so I could be close to you more often. Long distance partner of mine, and Peter was like, I would choose to freeze things, and I was like, oh, I would choose to be with you, and you would choose to be a glorified fridge.
Yeah.
And Peter's never wavered on that.
I've never wavered, but I will say, many years after that, where I said the best superpower would be to freeze things, came a Disney movie where the main character freezes things, and it's so cool. Actually, and she's so cool.
No, it's actually a real big problem.
Fine, it's a problem, but it's also.
Have you seen the movie at all?
Yeah.
You know what happened there?
Cool. And they made a whole movie about it, and it's like a
second one's
flagship movie that kids love. And I was like, that's the power I wanted.
Kids love it, and Peter's like, let it go. Show yourself.
Look, it's no Moana, but I loved it. I loved the superpower, and then they made a whole movie about how it's a great superpower, or not a great superpower. Just let it be, Shan.
All right. Technical difficulties aside that we've had.
Yeah, our microphone died in the middle of this, in the middle of my how much I love the Frozen superpower part. So I have ordered some batteries on Amazon, and we'll just have to hope it arrives quickly enough.
I just realized, I didn't realize that ice was a gym.
Okay, well, it is. Okay. And
well,
also, what's my favorite?
I know how much you love that. Okay. Obviously, I wouldn't be a good wife if that were the case.
And what's my favorite Pokemon? There's no you. I mean, you don't know.
Why?
Why? Because it's part ice.
Why are these questions? Okay, part ice. That narrows it down to. Give me a hint.
It's in the first generation, so you'd know it.
Icy, the icicle.
Icy, the icicle.
What's an ice Pokemon?
Its other one is water.
Just tell me what it is.
It's a water ice Pokemon from
something.
Yeah, you're close.
Galapagos.
It's Galapagos.
Okay.
It's not. It's Lapras. But
Lapras. Is there a Galapagos?
Like the island.
There's no Pokemon named that.
Galapagos.
Yeah.
No, but there should be. That's what it should be evolved.
Oh, Lapras. I can picture it exactly.
Galapagos.
What's my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time?
I do know.
I don't even think that I know. It was an unfair question.
No, it's in the one of the first albums. It's called. How will I remember the name?
Are you thinking of All Too Well?
Am I?
That's it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was. Is that the first? Is that the beginning?
I don't think I have. I don't know if I have a favorite. Country? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have. I think Daylight or anyway. See, these are hard questions. Basically, it's not my fault. That's what I was just trying to point out to you. I just made up a Pokemon. Okay, it's so embarrassing. I just made one up completely.
Yeah,
where did I get that from?
It kind of sounded good.
Anyway, can we move on from Pokemon? Not even the microphone's into it.
Look, point is that would be my signature
made
Pokemon.
One up. That's so embarrassing.
And I would like it to have a mega evolution or something. So that could be the like.
It's got like a really long neck. Is that what I'm picturing?
Do you want? I've got a plush of it, just like in the room that I can get if you want.
That's all right. Thank you, though. Yeah, you were saying, so your signature Pokemon.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd want it to. It doesn't have an evolution or mega evolution, so I would like that for my signature Pokemon. And you could call it Galapagos or whatever you call it. Galapagos.
That's what I was thinking of.
No, I'm just saying because of last name. Gus.
Anyway,
Galapagos.
I don't know where my brain went, but anyway, so we were also going to talk about. I don't know if I can pivot off this. Considering we're at the halfway point.
Yeah.
Of the pregnancy and the podcast, maybe.
If you were to give birth to a Pokemon, what Pokemon would you want it to be? Please don't answer. And because
not one of the fire ones.
Onyx.
Not one of the not Onyx. Probably a water Pokemon. Not Squirtle. With the shell.
Yeah, no, I really didn't expect you to take this as seriously as you are.
It's definitely one to think about. So we were going to talk about. I thought what would be interesting because we've never really had this conversation ever. And I think that speaks to the level of the conversation is why
about Pokemon.
Yes, definitely. And also I was going to say like why we want kids, because I think that it's an interesting discussion. Like, I don't know, wherever you fall on it, it's like it's the biggest decision we've ever made in our lives. And whatever decision you make on it is a big decision. If you are privileged enough to be able to make the decision on it. I think it's interesting.
I think it's somewhat simple.
Okay. Thank you. It's good podcast.
Well, I'm glad we spoke about it.
Why? It's impossible to me that you think it's a simple decision.
Yeah, because I think that having kids is inherently a selfish decision to make. And I mean, do I have to explain that? You kind of like moved your head. Is that like
I think I agree with you, but I think some people might take umbrage with that.
I mean, like drain on resources financially, economic. Well,
also bringing a kid into the world
agriculturally,
for the kid.
You know, just like limited worldwide resources.
Creating need when there's so much need, but that also assumes that in place of that you would be fulfilling need otherwise, which you might not necessarily be doing, to be fair.
Yeah, but you're not doing a net negative. I think like bringing a kid for the most part is like a net negative. That's why it's
also
selfish.
People might have kids and also fill a lot of need elsewhere still.
Sure, but I'm just saying I think that like overall inherently a selfish thing, which I will be comfortable enough to live with that guilt of making a selfish decision. But then for me, like that part I think is like we're on the same page so far.
So that makes it complicated. What are you talking
I think
about?
it's like inherently a selfish decision, but people are like, oh well, fuck it, doesn't really matter.
You swore now on YouTube.
Oh well, I've already said it. I'm not going to take it back. I think they're just like, oh well, like it is what it is. I want to have kids, so I'm going to have kids, and then that's the somewhat selfish part. And then you raise the kid, hopefully, or not, whatever you want. And for me, I hope that like my kid will, I guess, help leave the world in a better place than when we started the journey of the kid. So like they've done something good for the world. But again, it's not up to me. It's up to the kid. So then I've got like, it's not a real pressure, but again, it's a selfish thing thinking my kid's going to be so special and so good that they're going to do good for the world just because they have two really good looking and outstanding parents, that the kid is going to be something special. So I think like it's a selfish decision to make that you're putting unfair expectations on a child to live up to like your wishes. And there's no, and like, I'm comfortable with that. I'm like, yeah, okay, that is what it is. Okay, and like, I think that's the end.
I do think that bringing a kid into the world is in itself complex. I wasn't even talking about that though.
What were you talking about?
Like I was talking about it like selfishly. I think the fact that you haven't thought about that is like a gulf between
What do you mean selfishly?
Like changing our whole lives? Like you don't struggle with that a little bit?
No.
Like, how many naps did we have this weekend?
Well, I played a lot of Pokemon and I was tired.
Yeah. How much Pokemon do you think you're going to be able to play?
Well, it depends. Like, if I'm up in the middle of the night with a kid, then I'll just play Pokemon.
I don't know what you think is going to happen.
My friends have kids right now, and that's what they're doing.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why it seems so seamless to you.
Why? Because Pokemon just came out at the right time to have a kid?
No, because you think that you can juggle it, and maybe you can. But, like, to me, it's crazy that you haven't wrestled with how your life is going to change. Like,
yeah, but I'm a man. So my life's going to change a lot less than yours.
I think that's it. I genuinely think that. Okay, I'm glad you said it because I was gonna say that.
I thought of that, and that, as I said, I'm comfortable with it.
Like that is what I wrestled with because for me, I never never spent any time thinking I wouldn't have kids. I think, I don't know, maybe it's intrinsic, maybe. I don't know. I'm someone who overthinks everything, so I want to think there's like logical thought behind it. But it's very hard for me because there are reasons I want to have a kid, but
What are the reasons?
I can talk about. I'm just saying.
Tell me the reasons.
I'm just saying that like I never came from a neutral position.
Sure.
You know? So there are pros and cons, but I wasn't starting at neutral. I'd like to think if I started at neutral, those reasons would be enough, and maybe they would be. But I can't possibly say that because I don't know. Because I've never been at neutral. I think
same.
Yeah. So so for the reasons, and honestly, I like these are retroactive reasons. These are not. I didn't think I want this, and this, and that's why I'll have a kid. I wanted to have a kid, and then I thought, do I just want to have a kid because of societal pressure? Don't do that.
I never felt that.
So then I backdated my reasons, which are all valid. Yeah, because you don't think I think about this all the time.
No, but like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a kid, and it's gonna be somewhat selfish. I never.
It's also
I knew that going into it.
No, but it's not okay. So for me,
I was always like, I hope I can have kids, and I also thought. I mean, we disagreed on this, but I also thought if we couldn't have kids, I would adopt a kid.
I mean, thank God we never had to go down the path of we couldn't have kids. So
well, I mean,
it's hard to say what we would.
I don't know if we would have agreed because it's not something we had to worry about. But I was always like, I'm going to have a kid no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I never reckoned with that. But I think that for me, okay, so the reasons that I've wanted kids backdated. I mean, I like kids. So that's good.
That's a positive.
I think that it'll be cool to have something that's like half me, half you.
Like a Pokémon.
No, like Galapagos. That Galapa is starting to start like a great name. Gal-appa. Maybe that's what. And then I think I want to see you. I think you'll be a great dad. I would never deny you being a dad. In fact, before I was ready to like be a mother, I was like, he'd be such a great father. Like someone needs to make him a father. I don't want it to be me right now. I think that our kid will,
Please put in your applications.
Well, I am now having a child.
Where were you when I was a teenager? I'm kidding.
We talk about the selfish aspect, but like the kid will bring a lot of joy to a lot of people we love, and to us. And I think that there's a lot of like capacity for joy and for extreme love, which I think is like something that I have a lot of in my life.
Can't bring.
No, they do, but it's another aspect. Yeah, we could also get more cats.
I'm sure it's a different. Everyone says it's a different type of love.
No, I don't think it's.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you.
No, it's. I mean, it's
give
its
it
own
like 20
thing.
weeks, and
it's
I'll tell
its own different experience.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to say. I'm sorry for cutting off. Is that it's also like part of life is having your like living life, I guess, to its fullest, and that means different experiences. And I'm not someone who's like really interested in skydiving, so I don't care that I'm never going to go skydiving. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, but it would have bothered me.
That's my main reason.
The kid experience, because I want to have that experience of being a dad and having kids.
I said that to you before, and you've
never said that to me before ever.
Yes, I have. I said it to you fairly recently, and you just
this
you
is like survival
it.
Where you just take my idea.
I said to you so recently.
There's no credit.
That's why I was about to say that, and you don't even know that it came from me. Well, we would come up with the exact same wording. My backdated reason.
I heard my wording. I haven't heard your wording.
It was exactly your wording.
Tell me your point now.
That I want to experience motherhood. That I get one life, and I would look back and be sad if I didn't get to be a mother. And that there are lots of things I don't want to experience. I didn't say skydiving specifically. I think you ad-libbed that part. But I would.
Never heard what you said. This is
I remember where I was standing when I said this point to you.
Where were you standing?
It was in that other room. You don't even remember.
It was somewhere. Over there.
I'm telling you, whatever. It's fine. I'm glad that it resonated with you so much that you took it on as your own. I wish people would stop doing that. But my main thing was that not my main thing, but I do think I'll look back and have wanted to experience motherhood. But I also struggled. Like I wasn't just like, okay, great, I'll experience motherhood. I really struggled with it because I kind of thought my whole life I'll have kids. I never wrestled with that at all. I didn't even have reasons. I was just like, and maybe it was society. And maybe it was, maybe it came from somewhere deep within, but I was like, I'll have kids when I'm like 30. You know, that's the kind of thing you say when you're younger because it's like, then I'll be an adult. But then 30 came and I was not an adult. Still, I wait to become an adult. And like genuinely in my like late 20s to my earliest 30s, I was like, I'm not ready for this at all. And it really consumed me in a way that it seemed to not consume you.
Yeah, I don't think any of this is complicated. I think it's
Peter,
like
that's so privileged.
I think all these reasons are quite simplistic.
But I'm saying that I struggled with when to have a kid.
Yeah, when to have a kid is different than the conversation of why do we want kids.
No, it's not.
Different questions.
It's
why
not,
do we
because
want kids?
if you
the
aren't
reasons of it's selfish, we want the experiences, all that. I think it's very simplistic. That's why I said I think it's quite straightforward.
Okay, but the issue is that if you are never ready to have kids, you don't have them. And there's like a time limit, I hear, for some people.
But not for me, because I was willing to adopt.
Peter, you're being ridiculous.
How's that being ridiculous?
That would change everything we ever spoke about. So you're acting like, okay, well, we'll just do that. That was never how we spoke about it.
Sure.
Okay, so it's not just like, okay, we do that. And also that changes everything. Of course, having a plan in our life. We got married when I was 26 years old. And then I got to 30. And I was like, I'm not ready to have kids. And I don't know when I will be.
And I had no problems, no issues.
I know you had no issues, but it consumed me. It wasn't a timeline that I felt about from you. It was a timeline that I felt about from myself. I was like, wow, I'm not ready like I thought I would be. I struggle with a lot of things that are maybe a lot of women can relate to.
Like opening milk cartons.
Peter. Yeah. So I'm just like a lot of what? I struggle with a lot of things that a lot of women can relate to, which is all the things you seem to not struggle with. Loss of identity. Loss of all the things I have in my life now. Like, as cute as it sounds, like, yeah, not being able to do the podcast as much, or having to like think about where my career is gonna go, or the time with the cats, like, which is true for both. And I know you struggle with it differently because you're like, what if I have to work and I can't see my child enough? But I think maybe you underestimate how difficult that is for a lot of women in a way that I don't want to diminish it for men. And I think you'll be an amazing father, and there are fathers who throw everything into it. I'm not saying you won't do that, but the fact that like you didn't think about this at all is like, we can just wait. We would have just adopted. Like, what? No one's doing that. Like, no, that's not what. So of course, when I turned 30, and I always thought I'd have a kid at 30.
I didn't understand why 30 is a big deal for you.
Well, that was because I always thought simplistically I would have a kid at 30.
Okay, but again, if I don't have that thought, then why would I be worried about these things?
Because when it didn't happen, I didn't know, and then it did. Shortly after, I think maybe because of the pressure that I put on myself, but like shortly after, it did. But my concern was like, what if it doesn't? What if I'm not ready in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? I didn't know, because the thing is, I'd put an arbitrary line on it, and then I hadn't got to that point. And if I hadn't got to that point, I didn't have a next line. So
just would have waited till you were ready.
I'm glad it's so easy for you.
I don't understand why. What are you talking about? You're saying that you're worried that time would never come.
Maybe. Yeah, for a while I did, because
but then we figured that out together.
But I wanted to have kids. But the thing is, like, for a while, I wanted to have kids in the future. When I got married at 26, I was like, I'll have kids in the future. And that felt comfortable and fine. And then, like, the future that I'd envisioned arrived, and I wasn't ready for it. And I thought, what if it's always in the future? And I didn't want to be that. I would never have wanted to do that to you, and I didn't want to do that to myself.
But there was no pressures, but then it changed anyway, and now you want to have a kid.
Yeah, it did. But
so it sounded like you stressed yourself out. I'm not trying to be dismissive, sorry.
But
genuinely, like, that point was going to happen at some stage, right?
I didn't know that.
Why wouldn't it happen at some stage?
Because it's a massive decision.
You never thought, like, you really, really thought when you were feeling like you didn't want a kid, that you were like, what if I never want to have a kid?
Yeah. I kind of thought that. That
doesn't feel right.
No, I thought maybe I would just, I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll never be ready, and I'll just, based on the biological clock, would just have the kid when I need to.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. But again, like, I felt ready, I think maybe due to maybe the pressure I was putting on myself. Like, maybe I don't know, maybe I felt like I really need to be ready. Like, one of my New Year's resolutions of 2023 was get myself, like, feel ready to have a kid. And in December 2023, I was like, I can do this. So I think maybe I was responding to something that I needed to do. And like genuinely now, like I'm super excited to have a baby.
Great.
And obviously
I'm very glad.
I tried really hard to have a baby, and I've been pregnant twice this year, and I don't want to take away from that because it's so unfair to the people who can not have children. I'm not taking away from that. But like, you think I don't think about this stuff? You don't think I think about my independence, my identity, my like I think about this all the time.
Yeah. And
it's really complicated.
Sure, but that's not answering the original question, which was like, why do you want to have kids?
Versus not. And there are many reasons to not have kids, like independence, identity, career, like cats, like.
Yeah. But you're also the type of person that get things done. Like obviously you're podcasting 7 times a week. You might not be able to podcast 7 times a week with a baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no one should podcast 7 times a week.
No, it's not.
You should. You'll still be able to podcast. Like you'll still be able to do the same things. It might just be
Peter,
at a
you're
reduced extent.
being naive. Like our lives will look completely different.
I agree they'll look different, but I also think you'll make things work because you always do. Like you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve. Just it might have a different path of getting there.
I don't know if it's that easy. I think your priorities shift, and I think that.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I'm
if
like
your priorities,
exhausted at the moment. I think
if your priorities have shifted, your goals might shift too.
Yeah.
Nothing's set in stone.
Maybe. But
so then if you have different goals, and then you'll achieve those goals.
But the idea of like changing so much.
Why does that scare you so much?
What's that scary?
Doesn't excite you?
In ways. Like I think I'll be like a good mother, and I think that I'll care about this thing like a lot, like more than I, care about anything other than my cats. But like, I don't, I mean, I think it's simplistic to say you'll get it done. You'll still like, you can have it all. Like, I think that's really hard. I think that's.
I never said you'll have it all, but the thing is, what you will have what you want to have. Because your goals will shift, and then you will.
I don't think that's
change
how.
It to what you want.
Motherhood is. I don't think you have what you want.
No, obviously there's sacrifice.
There's extreme sacrifice.
Obviously, there has to be sacrifice because you're putting someone else first instead of you. But also, your goals will shift, and some of them they're not going to be work or podcast related. It's going to be about the child.
Yeah.
But why does that scare you, or not scare you? Make you feel like you're missing out on something? I think is that kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so binary like that. Like you do miss out and you also gain. It's both things. That's why it's complicated. Like, yes, I
just feel like you just roll with it though. I know I'm not. It's not. I feel very
laid back. Switch lies for a second.
You just roll with it,
Peter.
What?
Okay. Well, you solve that.
Well, people should come to me more often for this advice. Especially all the expectant mothers out there.
Yeah, I think that. I think you gain in ways you never could otherwise. And I think that you sacrifice a lot. And I think when you're someone like me who has struggled with my identity, or, I do a lot of things for myself that are, I mean, I guess selfish is unfair, but I podcast and I do a lot of things I want to do, and a lot will change.
I think that's why it took me a while. So I've never had to worry about that. I feel like that seems like to be like your sticking point.
Also, your identity will change a lot less, just realistically.
But I also don't care about these things. I don't care about my identity. Who cares?
It's not just identity. It's also, you might not be playing as much Pokemon as you think you will be.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'd rather spend time with the kid.
Of course, but
So it's new things to get excited by.
Okay, let's check back in on this in 6 months. You might miss your sleep. You might miss your Pokemon. It doesn't mean that you would rather be with the kid, but it looks hard. It looks really hard.
It does look really hard.
It looks insanely hard. It looks insane. I'm not justifying it. You're the one this is ridiculous.
I do have probably a more positive outlook on most things than most,
I'm not trying to be negative. Obviously I'm excited. I didn't mean for it to be so negative. I just felt like I had to argue the complexity to you.
Yeah, because I am more I'm not happy-go-lucky because, well, in this case, it is more happy-go-lucky because it feels more simplistic to me that what will be will be. we have the kid. It demands what it demands, and you fulfill those demands at sacrifices to yourself. And
and
what happens?
everyone
What
mentally
happens?
deals with that really well, I hear. And that's
Yeah,
and
but like
through
we're a team. We'll deal
generations.
with it together. What more is there?
That's not what having a child is.
I guess we'll find out.
No, I fundamentally disagree with you. It's not just like you have a kid and it's fine. That's
I
what
didn't
you're.
say it's fine.
You have a kid and you
We
deal with.
have each other, and we're able to draw upon each other's strengths at different times and work well as a team. And therefore, I am not concerned about this. If I was not in a relationship with somebody like you, or was just by myself for some reason having a kid, and that makes more sense if I was a woman, then I would be way more concerned, and I would not be happy-go-lucky at all. But I think it's the comfortability I feel with you and us.
That's sweet.
No, I'm not trying to suck up to you. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like we'll be able to achieve whatever we want to achieve. So I'm not stressed about these things.
Absurd. Sorry, like very lovely, but like not like
You don't
maybe
think it's realistic?
No, I
Why?
don't.
When have we ever had things that we really struggled with?
This is harder than anything we've ever done.
Okay, yes, I'm sure, but also we've been able to get through everything else. So I feel like we will be able to get through this together, and people also other people get through this.
Yeah.
So, and there are people that get through this are in much worse situations than us.
Of course.
So then, just by logically applying that to our situation,
and people don't get through it.
Yeah, some people don't, but we should should be fine.
That's so simplistic because
Yeah,
that's
why
like
I said it's very simplistic.
Yes, that's the binary of like things are either fine or not fine, and that's not it. Like what parenthood I think is like.
I think for other people it can be much more complex.
No,
I don't think it's that complex for us.
I think for me, it's very, very hard and very, very great. It's both things, but just being like it'll be great is not it. It will be difficult. We're taking on something where our lives will be way more difficult. So obviously that's a complex decision. Obviously,
no, but it's not complex because we know it's going to be difficult, right?
And we've chosen it.
Yes.
That's complicated.
I don't think that's complicated. We know what we're walking into.
We could choose to have a less complicated life.
We could.
That's a complicated decision. I'm not being gaslit on that. I don't even know what the argument is anymore. Like,
of course, there could be a less complicated life, but I think it's like still pretty simplistic. We understand the sacrifices, we understand the risks, and we're like, yeah, there's parts of the kind are going to suck. There's going to be parts of the kind of great, and we're still going to do it.
I think.
What's more to it than that?
Yeah.
We said at the beginning of the conversation that we disagreed on if it was
I think that you're kind of minimizing what a transformative experience I think parenthood is, and maybe you're minimizing it for yourself, but like especially motherhood is, and how complicated making that decision is. And you're not right about it.
Maybe. It's possible, but as I said, like you have more things to worry about than I will have.
Yes.
Different things, yeah. So for me, I can say that it's less complicated. I think we agree on that.
Yes.
It's less complicated. So, but then I'm saying for me, it's rather simplistic. I'm not saying for you it's necessarily.
Also, I want to say that that's just true of us. Like that's not necessarily true of like we have like a fairly traditional setup, and also, the patriarchy and biology and stuff. But yeah, I mean, hello, like. I like for sure. I mean, you're like, it'll be fine. It's like, okay, but like I'm still putting my body through this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm more worried about that than having a kid in general.
Okay.
There's a lot of complications with like birth.
I don't know if we got anywhere on this.
A lot of medical complications. That's what I'm worried about.
That's the complicated decision. 100%. When people choose to have a kid, that they're going to put their bodies through.
Definitely much more worried about.
But we chose that when we chose to have a kid, and that makes it complicated. Yes.
I don't think that's what makes it complicated. It
does.
There's no way out of that.
You can choose not to have a kid.
Sure.
Biologically.
Like, if you choose to have a kid, that's part and parcel with it. So I don't think then you're saying no matter what, it's always complicated. I don't think that's necessarily true.
It is always complicated.
If you were a billionaire, if I was a billionaire, we have to go with the patriarchy thing for ease of conversation. If I was a complete billionaire and you didn't have to work or do anything and you didn't have much of an identity outside of consumerism, how would that be complicated?
Okay. Everyone has an identity. Every single person until they have a child, and obviously like
different varying levels of
every single
effort in
person
people's
has built
identities.
up decades of who they are
Sure. But
and will sacrifice on it to have a kid.
No, because some people they have more to gain than they have to sacrifice.
I think that's probably true of I hope anyone.
Okay,
I hope that's true of me.
Yes, that's
Otherwise,
true.
then this was a very bad decision.
In a different extreme. You have a big identity right now without being a mum.
Yeah.
And some people don't.
Everyone does.
No, some people
every person
are just waiting to have a kid and are waiting to be a mum. They're like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to just have babies.
Yeah, and that's
everyone knows
legitimate.
People like that.
Yeah,
that's sure. But like that identity is not fulfilled until they have a baby.
Yeah.
So those people, how is it complicated?
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. I don't think that I saw my identity as that.
I never thought you did, but I'm just saying you're saying it's always complicated, and I'm saying I don't think it is. I think for you it might be complicated,
and for a lot of people, women in the 21st century.
Yes, fine, women in 21st century. I am not in that category, therefore I am not saying for me that it's a complicated decision. And you're like, it is complicated. I'm like, we can have differences here. I didn't have to be wrong.
Of course. But the thing is, like, but then you should empathize. Yeah, but you should be like, this is but then for us, it's complicated.
Yes. Sure. Of me absorbing your complicatedness.
For like 2 to 3 years, I struggled with, when am I going to do this? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me if I never want to do this? Why am I not fitting my own timeline? You know? And you were like, do.
I was like, it'll happen.
You were like, we'll be fine. Yeah. And like.
And what happened?
They talk about
going to be fine.
The gender gap.
What's panned out?
I hope
that's panned out.
I hope you wake up in your next life as a 30-year-old woman wondering about your biological clock.
Yeah. Be waking up as a baby.
That's what I wish for you.
Just that means like that woman's had a consciousness before me. And then I've been absorbed at the 30-year mark.
I hope you get Freaky Friday'd into the body of a 30-year-old woman.
But why? Why are you saying this?
You can really think about how hard that is.
I'm not saying it's not hard for you. I'm saying for me, it was less. I said what to say. For me, I don't think it was a complicated decision, which is true. For you,
you're so
complicated.
Lucky.
For us, slightly more complicated because I'm diluting that. For me, less complicated. Why are you? Do you disagree? Still? At the end of this conversation, do you think it's difficult? Or
I think it's an objectively complicated decision at its roots. Yes.
Do you think for me?
I think you're very naive, and I think you're very privileged.
I also think I agree that I'm coming from a privileged position, but also that's been taken into account.
Yeah.
For this decision, and then that just boils down to you saying you think I'm naive, and I would say I think it's more rose-colored glasses, half glass full type personality rather than naivety.
Do you think that?
And I try not to stress about things until they happen, as well. So like you get worked up a lot about things that haven't happened yet, and then they sometimes don't happen at all, and you just get worked up.
Okay. Do you think you want kids because society told you to have them?
No, I don't. As you said, I don't have the same societal pressures or feel that you do. I mean, pressures that I've had in the past, like God, you know, the community pressures of like believing in God.
That is interesting.
And I didn't do it. And everyone else around me and everyone I knew in my entire life, hi, Mom and Dad, believe in God. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, I just never conformed to it. So I never felt the pressures. I mean, I felt my mum's guilt, but that's not a societal pressure.
And now you've lost 2 relationships in the course of this podcast.
No, I didn't want to upset my mum. but I didn't believe in God. And I knew I didn't believe in God for a very long time before I told my mum.
Anyway, this is our longest podcast, so we're going to wrap it. But I think you are right, actually, because all those other things that were ingrained in me, I examined and, when necessary, unpicked. And if that were true of having kids, I probably would have done that. Okay, so I probably do want kids. Okay, good.
I don't know how I probably that.
Yeah, no, but that is true, because I'm like, well, there are things that I
have applied logic and logic's your way out of.
Yeah, and there are things that I believed or wanted before I was fairly old enough to rationally think it out, and then unpicked. And I actually was really good at that. So I think if that were the case, but I kind of wonder if maybe even having kids is even more extreme. But I do think that's true. I think I'm 32 years old. Like, if that were the case, I think by now I would have come to it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm glad we got there. We circled for ages. Is anyone still listening to this?
I don't know.
Jesus. All right, well, that's it.
I never got to explain the milk carton thing.
Yeah, because you brought that up at the worst possible time. I'm trying to explain how hard it is to be a woman, and you were like...
tears in your eyes, and you're like, I can't do this well. I'm like, milk carton, which is a really relevant thing that keeps happening over and over again.
I opened the wrong side of the milk carton. I don't think we can pile on in this podcast.
You've opened
it's getting too real.
Of the milk carton that there's an open side and a closed side, and you've somehow clawed your way to open the wrong side of the milk carton. Why don't you know how to open milk? You're 32 years old.
That was my concern about having kids. I didn't think I was an adult yet.
Well, the good news is the kids aren't drinking milk from the milk carton.
I'm gonna wrap it. We're gonna survive this, guys.
This
was a lot. You were like, this is such a simple discussion, and this was by far our most intense discussion. This was more than the miscarriage.
I didn't say it was simplistic for me. I'm not saying you asked me about it. That's a simplistic decision.
Good night, everybody. Thank you all. Gussin Around podcast at gmail.com if you have thoughts on this.
Subscribe. You can like it if you would like.
I don't know.
Please subscribe on YouTube because we need more subscribers on YouTube.
That's it.
So thank you for doing that.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Gussin around your friendly neighborhood Gusses are gussing around your favorite neighborhood Gusses. Where are they found? In the studio making a podcast for you. Find out what we did this week.